What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that I use on probably the best fitness app on the App Store in my opinion. If I could only use one thing to aid me in my fitness, it would be MyFitnessPal. This app is so good for tracking your macros, tracking your calories. You can even track workouts on it. I don't really track my workouts per se, so I don't really need to use it for workouts, but it's so good for tracking macros, especially when I was on my cut and I really needed to be specific with what I was eating and tracking everything specifically. Today I'm just going to show you some of the tricks that I use to be speedier on MyFitnessPal, because to be honest, when you've been tracking for a long time, it gets redundant. You get sick of trying to track every single thing that you're eating. So to spend less time on the app is actually better. You just want to track your food quick and then be able to eat. You don't want to have to sit and track your food and your food's just sitting there getting cold. So I'm going to show you what I do. Before we get into the video, if you guys want to hit the subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it, and let's get into these tricks. Alright, so I'm going to log into the app here, and first off, we're just going to start with setting our goals. So you're going to go to the goal sheet, so you're going to go to more, and then goals. I have all my goals set. I'm trying to bulk, so I want to gain a little bit of weight per week. It's not, you don't have to be specific with your weekly goals. But one of the cool things, if you go to the nutrition tab, you can track exactly how many calories you want to hit for each week, and then the percentages of carbs, proteins, and fats, which is super nice. So the first thing that's going to make this tracking a lot quicker for you is to use the scan feature. So when you're tracking something, you're going to hit the add food button, and in the upper right corner you're going to hit the little barcode looking thing. It's going to pop up the scan, and then you just literally scan the option that you want, and it'll search for it and add it. And then you can add how many servings you have, pick the serving size. If you're weighing out your food, it's good to use grams, but anyway, pick the number of servings you have. It gives you all the macros that you want. You hit the check mark in the upper right corner, and it adds it for you. So instead of trying to search for the food, this is a Trader Joe's brand of protein granola. It's going to be hard to search for. If I would just type in protein granola, and I hit search, there's a ton of different options. Who knows which one's going to be closest to that? So we're going to just pick a random one. First off, the amount is different in serving size, and the macros are way off. So if I just picked a random one, guessing what I thought the macros were on that protein granola, I am way lower on the carbs, about the same fat, and a lot less on the protein. So I try to use the scan feature as much as possible because it's just quicker to find the exact food that you want by scanning it instead of trying to search for it, even if you have the title. If I typed in Trader Joe's protein peanut butter granola, I could probably find it, but it would take some time. Here, just scanning it is a lot easier. And even if it's on your recents, so if I go to add food and search for food, let's say I hadn't eaten in it in a while, but I still wanted to search for it, it still might be hard to find if I just type in protein to try to get the protein granola, because they have a lot of things that also have protein listed under them. So that might be a slower way to search for it, even if it's in your recents. So sometimes I'd rather just scan it, and then instead of just searching for it in my recent items. The next tip that I use to make things quicker for myself is to create a recipe. So if I go to snacks, you go all the way over to the recipes tab on the right, and you click create recipe, enter ingredients manually, and here you can write what the title of the recipe is, whether that be a protein smoothie, and then you add how many servings it's going to make. So if you have a single serve protein smoothie and you know the exact ingredients are going to make one serving, then you can pick one serving. Once you tell it that stuff, you can start importing ingredients. This is where I also scan the items into the recipe. So if I'm making a smoothie, I'll scan the exact protein that I want. I will type in 1 banana, and I'll also type in a half cup of strawberries or whatever I'm making in the smoothie. And then you accept that, and then from there you can actually add it right to your daily totals. And if you search it in the future, you can search for the title of the recipe that you created, and it's going to pop right up. This way, when you actually track it, it's going to be as close to what you're eating as possible. If I were just to type in protein smoothie and search it, who knows what's in the smoothie, and if you look at the macros, you have no idea if it's close to what you're actually eating, if it's got more fat or less fat than what you put in. If you put a tablespoon of peanut butter in your smoothie, obviously it's going to have a little higher fat. So we want to make sure we're getting as accurate tracking as possible. And one way to do that is to create a recipe. And another thing that's going to be super helpful, let's say you made a dinner last night, you wrote all of your things down, and you want to add it to the next day's lunch because you brought leftovers. One quick way to add all those items that you already had was we go into lunch, and then we want to search for the food, and we look at all the recent items that we've marked, and all the items from your dinner are probably going to be right next to each other because you placed them into the app at the same time. So we're going to hit this multi-add button in the bottom right corner, and you're just going to add everything that you ate for dinner that day, and then hit add, and it auto adds everything instead of adding one thing, picking the serving size, accepting it. Here now, if you see that, let's say you brought something for lunch and you only brought half a serving, well, now you can change it here after you bulk added everything. Instead of changing everything one by one, now you can see it's all here, and then you go to the bottom, you can look at your nutrients. Protein, carbs, fats. If you see at the very top under breakfast, it says swipe to add yesterday's breakfast. So if you eat the same breakfast every day, this is a nice feature to add all the things that you ate for breakfast the day before. But it only has that option for breakfast, so the multi-add feature is really nice for, say, lunch, dinner, and snacks. So that's all I have for this video. This video was more geared towards people who have used the app before and are just looking for ways to make it quicker to enter their food in, because if you've ever tracked food before on any app, it gets really tiring to have to sit and search for your food, add each thing in, weigh it out, put the amount of servings that you've had. It just takes a long time, and to be able to track this stuff quicker, it just makes it easier and more motivating to keep doing it, because if you're tracking consistently, you don't want to lose motivation to stop tracking. So I hope these tips were helpful for you guys. If they were, make sure you subscribe to my channel down below, and I'll see you guys in the bulking video on Sunday.